Welcome back to the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zonos. Yeah, I know I've taken a brief hiatus. I know we haven't talked in quite some time. However, keep in mind that I did promise you guys some new updates to this season of Zono Sports. We will have a number of things to talk about. However, I'd like a new look. We may bring in some new graphics in the future and a few new dynamics to make the show pop that much more. Now, let's jump right into it. A lot's happened this summer, especially in the NBA. Kawhi was traded to the Raptors from the Spurs. Pop didn't seem to care, but that wasn't the biggest news of the NBA offseason. The summer of LeBron is what we should call the NBA offseason. Why do I say that? Well, he signed with his new team, the Los Angeles Lakers. Magic Johnson found a way to impress and court Mr. King James to get him to go ahead and move his family out to where he has a home in Brentwood and attend Los Angeles Lakers training camp. Now, LeBron, he's an elite talent. We know that. That's why he was worth the 4-year, $154 million contract. Also, additionally, he is going to be playing with defensive players who retain and exhibit toughness. These are guys who had it, who ain't never lost it. They got chips on their shoulders. When you sign a Rajon Rondo, a Lance Stevenson, Mr. Lance Romance, JaVale McGee, Michael Beasley, what you do is you allow those guys to grow and mesh with LeBron James. We've seen what he's done with teams who have lesser talent. Now, when you talk about a team like the Los Angeles Lakers, all this veteran talent of guys who maybe felt like they have always been up against the odds and feel like they have something to prove, I think that could play to the Lakers' advantage because you have a leader like LeBron James who's been to the finals all these consecutive years. He's going to be sure that he gets these guys to play team basketball, and I don't see why they can't maybe compete for that division over there. Yeah, I know the big monster in the West, the Golden State Warriors. I get that they are the creme de la creme of the Western Conference and that division because they just did sign Boogie Cousins for the discount, $5 million. Keep in mind, though, when you talk about team ball, can the Lakers find a way with a talent like LeBron James to put it all together and compete for that division with the Warriors? Many people are going to say no. I think it's unlikely this season because in 2019 they could add a new free agent. However, LeBron James is LeBron James. And what he'll do in LA, we'll just have to see. A lot of fans don't feel the same way about him that other fans do. Fans who are loyal to the boy Kobe, they don't feel as though LeBron should be treated and feel as entitled as he does about being in LA because he hasn't won championships in LA. When you go out to LA, you have to go against the ghost of Will, the ghost of Kareem, Magic, Kobe, Shaq. I can go on and on and on. Jerry West. So the difference maker on the floor is LeBron James, but also he does it in the community. If you've been keeping up, he opened the I Promise School yesterday for grades 3rd and 4th. They're thinking about expanding eventually in 2022 to 1 through 8th grade. He calls this his biggest accomplishment, his most important accomplishment. LeBron, he's shown that he's a humanitarian, philanthropist off the floor. Everything from the way that he talked about social activism to what he did yesterday by opening that school for kids. Now, it's really impressive to see LeBron do all these things, considering he's someone who grew up without a father. LeBron James, in my opinion, yes, I'm very critical of him as a basketball player, but as a person, I can't really say that much about the man. He does what he's supposed to do in the community, which is give back, and that's all that we can ask for from any professional athlete. Now, moving right along to our next topic in basketball, we all know what's going on with Melo. He's got to wake up. Signed a buyout contract with the Hawks. They're going to waive him. Where does he fit? He's 34 years old, and he's already said in interviews he doesn't want to come off the bench because he knows how to play the game of basketball. Melo, you have to face it. Your game has to evolve. You may no longer be a person that can help a team who's competing for championships by starting. Why not be the person who plays that bench role? There's nothing wrong with being a Jamal Crawford. There's nothing wrong with coming off of the bench and being someone to infuse a little bit of juice into that roster and onto the floor because you're coming off the bench and you're fresh and you are a multi-time All-Star, an Olympian, 4-time Olympian. So this ego that we see Melo have as an NBA player, I think it could eventually deteriorate and eat away at his playing career. And effectively end his time in the NBA. Because when it's all said and done, it's about production. And Melo, you just didn't produce like that for OKC. That's why they weren't afraid to say, you know what, let's get rid of this guy. So I truly hope that Melo does find a home. They're saying the Rockets. They've been saying the Rockets, but the Rockets haven't picked him up yet. So who knows where Melo really will end up. NFL training camp wise, that started. Sam Darnold made it out, and so did Julio Jones. He ended his contract dispute with the Atlanta Falcons about a week ago. Andrew Luck is feeling healthy for the Colts. It's very encouraging considering his shoulder was so messed up. He was throwing high school footballs. The Colts need to really focus on offensive line play this season because you've got to keep that man upright and healthy. Now, the new helmet rule has players distraught. And the Eagles players in particular were really upset the other day about it because they wonder how can you play football if you take the head out of the game? Because, yeah, I understand that it's dangerous. The NFL has tried to take the head out of the game because all of the CTE research, I want to say they said 99% of the brains that were tested for this all tested positive, brains from the NFL. So I totally understand it. And this penalty, the way it works is the fact that if you're an offensive player and you lower the crown of the helmet or your head and you hit somebody with it, you're going to be in trouble. Could get fined, could get ejected. It's going to be a lot more sensitive than, it's going to be similar to the targeting rule in college. But these guys are professional athletes. So you would assume that they'd be making rules that the college players had to adjust to, but the colleges seem like they've already made rules that the NFL needs to adjust to. So, I don't know. How do you play football in 2018? I'm glad I didn't have to. So it seems like it's getting more difficult and more difficult. Now, also anthem controversy. That's been a topic throughout the summer, throughout last season. The Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones, they run a tight ship in Dallas. And they came out and said every Cowboy must stand. And we know Dak is because he even came out and said, he's not for the controversy. He stands because, there's a lot of people that watch the game, this and that. That's a great answer when you're the franchise quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. I wouldn't say anything to make my boss salty either. Moreover, think about the fact that Jerry Jones is the guy who's always seemed to take the rap for his players, make sure they're taken care of, so they feel a certain allegiance to him, certain players. I'm not going to say every single one. Now, the NFL has put these conversations on Talk About the Anthem with the NFLPA, and they've asked Jerry Jones to not say anything. And other owners even came out and said that they were told not to say anything. So, Jerry, stop breaking the rules. Yeah, I know Donald Trump's going to pump you up because he agrees with the fact that every player should stand, but you got to listen to the big bosses, the commissioners of your league. Keep it in mind. Now, college hoops, five-star forward DJ Jeffries decommitted from Kentucky yesterday. Coach Cal, he can't get everybody. It seems to me he may be losing the juice. He lost those top three recruits to Duke. What was it? Cam Reddish, R.J. Barrett, and Zion Williamson. Speaking of Zion Williamson, he's 6'7", 285. That's what Duke listed him as. I don't believe he's 285. Some people are saying he's too fat. He can't move. He's not going to be able to last in the NBA because those knees are going to give out. Now, do you not think that Duke is working with him on keeping him in supreme physical condition for the season, which doesn't start till late October? And then also, do you not think that he's a person who carries the weight well and is going to adjust to the NBA because he's always had that weight? Unlike Ben Simmons, who a couple years ago jumped to the NBA and put on 20 pounds in like 2 months and hurt his legs because his legs were not ready for that type of development. This kid, Zion Williamson, is a physical freak, a specimen. I don't think that he will lose athleticism or be bullied in the NBA because people say all he can do is dunk. Well, I've seen clips of him shooting. People worry about him running the floor. Me and the boys were arguing last night. I can't worry about that when you have an athlete like that who his ceiling is much higher than I think people are realizing. I think sometimes in this day and age when you see a kid jumping and dunking the way he does, you say, oh, that's all he can do. But a lot of kids are not 18 years old, 6'7", 285. So Zion Williamson, I have the utmost confidence in him, and he'll get it done. Trust me. Duke's going to be hard to contend with this year, and I can't wait to watch this walking highlight, Zion Williamson in college. MLB trade deadline came and went. Bryce Harper would have been a value trade similar to the Kawhi Leonard situation because they thought they were going to lose him anyway, but He ended up staying with the Nats, and they won 25-4 against the Mets. So I don't know if that energized him or what, but Bryce Harper will remain a national. Pretty boy Bryce won the home run derby competition. What a year for Mr. Bryce Harper. Can the Nationals make a push in the MLB wildcard race this year? Excuse me, not even the wild card, for that division. Can they make a push? We'll see, but Bryce Harper for now, I think, has infused energy into that team because they know that he will for sure be there to stay. Now, make sure you're keeping up with the Zono Sports Show because, I'm back today. I had to bring fresh juice. Should have been yesterday, but, I caught you guys today. Make sure you keep up with the Zono Sports Show because we will have new developments throughout the coming weeks and months. So just stay tuned. Rock with me if you've been rocking with me, and we'll talk soon. Thank you for watching the Zono Sports Show, where Zonos.